Good evening and welcome to the Monday, November 3rd meeting of the Green Bay Plan Commission. We'll start with a roll call. Chair Lisa Hanson, present. Vice Chair Jacob Miller.
Present.
Alder Jim Hutchinson.
Present.
Commissioner Darius Daniels.
Present.
Commissioner Ken Ravinsky.
Present.
Commissioner Emma Fullwilder.
Present.
And Commissioner Kelsey Lutzow.
Present.
Moving on to approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda for the Monday, November 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Green Bay Plan Commission.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Daniels, second by Commissioner Ravinsky. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Moving on to approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes from the October 13th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ravinsky, second by Vice Chair Miller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to regular business. Item number 1 is a public hearing on a request to rezone 1109 South Taylor Street from low density residential to general commercial, submitted by Brad Reimer of Verbiker on behalf of Dung Nguyen, property owner. And this item has been postponed to November 17th, meeting of the Plan Commission at the request of the applicant. Item number 2, public hearing on a request to amend the Smart Growth 2022 Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map at 1109 South Taylor Street from low density residential to commercial land uses, submitted by Brad Reimer of Verbiker on behalf of Dung Nguyen, property owner. This item has been postponed to November 17th, 2025 meeting of the Plan Commission at the request of the applicant. Moving on to item number 3. Item 3, public hearing on a request for a conditional use permit at 1087 West Mason Street and 1101 West Mason Street, seeking to create off-street parking exceeding more than 2 times a development's use minimum required stalls, submitted by Brad Reimer of Verbiker, applicant, KTS Investment West LLC, property owner. And this item has been postponed to November 17th, 2025 meeting of the Plan Commission at the request of the applicant. Moving on to item number 4. Communication on the request by Alder Hinkfist and Alder Presley to amend the ordinance for short-term rentals.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. Staff has recommended referral to staff on this, and I would like to amend that to referral to staff to bring back to this planning commission on November 17th, 2025.
So we have a motion. Is that a motion or is
That's a
that?
motion
Okay, with an edit.
with an amendment.
Okay.
Second.
All right, perfect. We've got first by Alder Hutchinson and a second by Commissioner Ravinsky.
Point of clarification.
Yes, go ahead.
Was there any presentation or anything for this prior to?
There is none.
It's
Okay.
just, it's a communication, so there it's, it hasn't been noticed for hearing or anything yet, so.
Okay. No, okay.
Right. All right, so then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then that will be moved to the next meeting for November 17th when it can be properly noticed. Moving on to item number 5, which is a public hearing. This public hearing has been properly posted and public notification has been published in the Green Bay Press Times. The Plan Commission is interested in hearing public comments on the subject agenda items. We invite your comments and ask that you state your address, whether you represent a group or association, whether you favor, oppose, or are only providing information in this matter, and your comments or concerns. We also ask that you confine your testimony to facts related to the proposal at hand and avoid repetitive testimony. City staff will provide a presentation during the public hearings, and questions raised by the public may be asked, but they will not be answered by staff until the upcoming actionable item. You must be recognized by the Plan Commission in order to speak, and your comments must be addressed to the chair. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and we will now open the public hearing on item number 5. Public hearing on a request for a conditional use permit at 1201 North Webster Avenue for the addition of a second accessory garage exceeding 150 square feet in the varied density residential zoning district, submitted by Dwayne Peterson, applicant, Michael Delaney, property owner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this property is located at the intersection of North Webster Ave and Reaver Street. And here's just a visual of what the home looks like. So the applicant is requesting to add a second accessory building that exceeds 150 square feet. Here's something exciting. We're gonna be using our new future land use map. First time we're rolling it out tonight. So.
It's a little chaotic because
So-
it's not even fully updated yet.
Yeah.
So, to give some more information about the parcel, the property has a future land use classification of mixed residential. And it's basically surrounded by that with general light and general industrial further to the west, west. But the proportions on this map are very like, it looks a lot closer than it really is. The property itself currently is zoned R3 varied residential district. The parcels to the east are R1 low density residential. And here is the subject building in question. As you'll notice, it is there, but we'll get into that. So first things first, the property is currently a two-family home. It is an upper and a lower duplex. And the applicant is Dwayne Peterson. He is asking, he's currently renting the property. The property owner is Michael Delaney. And Dwayne would like to add a second building. There's currently a 576 square foot building that's already there. Kind of see it over here. And the way our code says is you can have a second building. It can't exceed 150 square feet, and it also cannot exceed the overall square footage or the first floor square footage of your home. So he can add a second building. He's requesting to add a 240 square foot building. And that's the size of the building that's shown. Now, when we're looking at this, there's a couple different things we're looking at it. So the planning commission's responsibility tonight is to determine the use of the property. So is the addition of this accessory building use appropriate on this parcel? We're not really looking at where it's located because that actually has to go to the Board of Appeals if it's going to be in this current location, because the current location does not meet both requirements. So in order for it to stay where it is, that gets determined by the Board of Appeals. So when we look at conditional use permits, we have 7 criteria that we look at. Staff has looked at those items and it all seems to work. The 240 square foot building can fit on this parcel in a different spot. There is room. So we do feel that the use works here, but I'll leave it here and then we can, I guess, move on to opening the floor.
All right, so now with this public hearing, we're looking to hear from anyone who would like to speak on this item. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this item? Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
I'm Dwayne Peterson. I've never been to this meeting, so I'm kind of nervous.
If you just need your address for the record, please.
1201 North Webster Avenue Upper, that's me, that I built that. I'm having an issue with storage. The guy lives downstairs, got a vehicle, the garage is full. I can't even leave my snow blower in the yard. in the garage that was messed up. I'm on my third snow blower. I've been there 9 years. Somebody drinks too much and they run into it, all kinds of damage. I need my own place to lock up my own stuff. I take care of the yard, snow, the winter. And I painted, I'm doing, updating as much as I can. My landlord and I are best friends. We've been for 40+ years. I need a place to lock my stuff in, so I built the garage. I didn't even consider the 110 square foot. I work construction, I flip homes. But my excess wood, that's what I made it work, and I just bought all the siding for it, the metal, black metal roof that matches the same color as the house siding and the same color roof. I don't know how to proceed. I've never, I'm just, anybody got a question for me?
With the public hearing, you just state, you
Oh.
can make your comments and
Cause I'm,
we're just here to listen right
I
now.
went about this backwards and I'm not right on that. I'm not too computer smart either, so. That's really what I'm asking, I guess. That's all I got.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Let the record reflect that no one else came forward and the public meeting is now closed. Moving on to item number 6, which is the corresponding actionable item. Consideration with possible action on a request for a conditional use permit at 1201 North Webster Avenue for the addition of a second accessory garage exceeding 150 square feet in the varied density residential zoning district, submitted by Dwayne Peterson, applicant, Michael Delaney, property owner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as I was stating, staff does recommend approval of this. We do see this kind of as like a two-tiered approach because he does need to get the permission to have the use before applying for the variance. We don't really see any issues with the use. The parcel, it can work on the parcel. The location may need to change of the building as it is right now, but the use works. There is room that we feel is available. But if he wants to keep it where he has it right now, he does need to get that variance. We did send out notification to property owners within 200 feet. Alder Presley was also notified. We haven't heard any comments regarding it. So we do recommend approval subject to the following conditions. Site plan approval by the Office of Community and Economic Development, and then compliance with all other regulations of the Green Bay Municipal. So if he wants it, he's got to comply, and the way to comply is to get that variance.
Motion to approve as recommended.
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Rubinski, second by Commissioner Fullweiler. Any further discussion or questions for staff? Hearing none, we'll go ahead with the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and that will go forward to city council in the 11th? Yes. The October 11th. Nope. No, we're going back in time. All right, never mind, November 11th, I'm on the wrong month. All right. Moving on to item number 7, which is a public hearing. Public hearing on a request for a conditional use permit at 1806 Bond Street, seeking other public or semi-public facility uses such as community theater and nonprofits office use within a PI public institution district, submitted by Michael Ajango of Evergreen Theater Inc., applicant, Green Bay Area Public Schools property owner.
Thank you, Chair. The property that you're looking at here is the former Helen Keller Elementary School, the intersection of Bond and West Plain near the northwest part of the Cedar Bend. The existing characteristics of the school that was shut down recently, and for new users in the site, inside its own PI will get met. So future land use calls for public and semi-public on the site here, with the adjacent property being Barry Baptist Church and School off to the west. As far as zoning goes, It is zoned as PI public institutional, surrounded by R1 land uses and back off to the south and the east. And the way that we're looking at this right now is every approach the staff of this use. With the use of a community theater, nonprofit community theater for this site, and I was looking to utilize the existing two-story building at the site. So everybody came forth and noted that they would like to use about 40 of the overall existing school for a community nonprofit theater. And so as the site is zoned right now, PI public institutional, look through the list of what are uses that are allowed on the site. The reason why this comes to be here today is that one of the conditional use permits is other public or semi-public use. Because this is a community nonprofit theater, we did feel it was appropriate as the main tenant. We did feel it was appropriate that would fit under that classification to proceed forward. Their uses they're looking to have would be a version of the gymnasium for a theater space that fit around 190 to 200 individuals to view their performances. Additionally, they have classroom sites for auditions, props and prop design, music practice rooms, and office space in general for Evergreen and their overall productions. If this were to be approved in the future, they're hoping to be the facility by February for their first productions. So that leaves about half of the overall school, the old school building site as far as the building itself goes. The other part, going back into other semi-public uses, you have a lot of classroom space. And so everyone has made it known they would like to go and lease out those spaces to other nonprofits and community groups. Some other groups they've mentioned would be other artists, smaller organizations like the Neighborhood Association, and the train club has been interested to have some space inside of the building. So it's noted that the uses they're looking for would be nonprofit, community theater, and then other office space for nonprofits, community groups. Office being its own individual use. If someone were to come forth and ask to do something that would be beyond that, they'd either have to get a initial use permit to go step beyond that, say, like for instance, a restaurant. It's can't be used as a restaurant site or a food kitchen. It is office space for nonprofits and community groups. But we felt those could be appropriate here as fitting into the destination for other public or something public that we just don't see typically. And so with that, I'll this off to the
All right, so now with this public hearing, we're looking to hear from anyone who'd like to speak on this item.
I'll speak. I'm with the Evergreen Group, and I'm also live about a half a block away from the school. I can see the school from my kitchen window.
If you could state your name and address for the record. please.
Judy Patefield at 1840 Adler Way. We're very excited about the possibility. Evergreen's been in existence for 40 years, and the Young Actors Group merged with us about 20 years ago, and they've been around for 60 some years. But we've never owned our own property. We've always been at, St. Norbert College for performances, and elsewhere we've had several places to perform and store all of our products. So we're very excited about having one space where we can store all of our goods, teach children. We have a lot of enrichment classes for young people, and that's why the school board was so excited about our interest in the school, because where they're cutting back on arts education in the public schools, we can pick up the slack, and we're excited about that. And I'm open for any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, name's Miles Grasso. I live at 1775 Bond Street. It's almost kitty quarter, pretty much across from Keller School. I also am on the board of directors at the Murphy Park Neighborhood Association. And we just wanted to stop by and say we're way behind it. We think it's a wonderful addition to our neighborhood. And I hope we can move as quickly as possible forward. We're waiting for the Sound of Music there. Anything?
Thank you.
Sure.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this item?
I can't tell if that's a hand up online, but I'll jump in. So, Alyssa Prophet, 1262 Cherry Street. Oh, okay.
All right.
No, that's like, I can tell, it doesn't look like a typical hand raise. Evergreen has been an amazing nonprofit in our community for a really long time. I think their current space certainly is, small for performances. I've been there to see some. My daughter's looking forward to getting involved with Evergreen as she gets older. But just also wanted to recognize the innovative solution to open it up to other nonprofits, particularly with an art focus. There has been some artist groups that reach out and say they need a space similar to what they're proposing here. So just absolutely super thrilled, excited about this project, and wanted to go on record and support.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Let the record reflect that no one else came forward, and this public hearing is now closed. Moving on to the corresponding actionable item, item number 8. Consideration with possible action on a request for a conditional use permit at 1806 Bond Street, seeking other public or semi-public facility uses such as community theater and nonprofits office use within a PI public institutional district, submitted by Michael Ajango of Evergreen Theater Inc. applicant, Green Bay Area Public Schools property owner.
Thank you, Chair. So when we review CUPs, we have the 7 standards that was brought up in our last item. The one that just had a little bit of making sure we'll be okay is the amount of parking that's available on the sites. So right now there's 74 parking stalls in a legal non-conforming, but a matter where it works. By legal non-conforming, it would mean if they were starting a brand new parking lot today, there'd be a need for islands and landscaping that it doesn't have, but the parking lot's in pretty good shape right now, frankly. So it probably has a good amount of lifetime left on it. In addition, there's more space to park in the back. It is describing. The theater itself, based off of the size and capacity of the gymnasium, require 40 stalls. How this overall site gets broken up with a net floor area based off of what areas become storage, what areas become HVAC, which areas will actually be used, they may never reach a need for 74 stalls in the site. If they do, they'd have to add in more parking somewhere in the future, but that'd be a site plan review for this. So we feel this would not have any issues for ingress, egress, and traffic congestion for a site of this size. As noted, this item was brought forward to the local Murphy Park Neighborhood Association meeting last Monday. There were about 12 people who attended, and seemingly from all folks who were there. There was kudos and praise upon this project. Neighbors within 400 feet were notified, did not receive any calls about this. And so with that said, staff makes a recommendation to approve, subject to classifying this as other public or semi-public uses. This you should classify it as nonprofit community theater and office space for nonprofit groups, community groups.
All right, thank you.
To approve as recommended.
Thank you, Ken. I was just gonna say, love this. This is one of my concerns when we were closing some of the schools, is they're gonna just sit unused, and this keeps it a part of the community and vibrant, and it's awesome. So second, Ken, thank you.
All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Vinsky and a second by Vice Chair Miller. Any further discussion?
I'm assuming the parking spots in front of the building were calculated with 74 as well.
Oh, yes.
So south.
Any further questions? All right, we'll go ahead with the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that will go forward to November 11th, meeting of City Council. Moving on to item number 9. Consideration with possible action on a request to create a 15-lot final plat that includes public street dedication at 911 Spartan Road, submitted by Troy Hewitt of Robert E. Lee and Associates on behalf of Bay Settlement Investments LLC property owners.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this should look familiar to everybody. This is the last phase of the Eaton Heights subdivision. We did review this back on July 7th. The preliminary plat came before the body. So whenever there is a road dedication involved, or any type of dedication, a park dedication, road dedication, it does need approval by city council to accept that dedication. So that's why you're seeing it tonight. So the proposal, the future land use of this project is, in our new comprehensive plan, is mixed residential. I just want to note that, in that district, in that, classification, the density ratio is 8 to 12 units per acre. This development is part of an approved planning and development that was approved, I think, back in 2007, and even prior to that. And it does have an approved preliminary plat. So kind of once you have a approved preliminary plat, it guarantees the developer that the final plat will get approved as long as it complies with that plat, and it does. And also the PUD and the preliminary plat were approved prior to our 2050 comprehensive plan. The property is zoned planned unit development. And here is what that subdivision looks like. It includes 15 single family lots, and it includes the extension of Mendota Drive. The plat has gone through staff for review and all comments have been addressed. And so what you're seeing is the final plat. Staff recommends approval of the request. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Just doing him down until he makes motion.
Oh. Okay,
we've got a motion by Commissioner Rubinski and a second by Commissioner Daniels. Any further discussion? We'll go ahead with a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, moving on to informational director's report.
So you will have the latest and greatest. There isn't a change, actually Jeff Follier pointed that out to us on the former Badger Sheet Metal date, construction, we're looking at somewhere in 26. Okay, so that'll be here though, it's good, but you know, the RDA is gonna meet tomorrow. Of course, you probably have heard about the United, talk more about the United Soccer League project. It's coming through. Market on Military will be presenting, they'll be for some funding, so that's an exciting project. On the park, to help them find a place for their farmers market permanently, along with park uses by combination. The JVS site, we went out for RFP and we have Review Homes, who's going to be some single families and some townhomes. And also NeighborWorks, we're looking to develop both of them for townhomes on that site. And then we're also looking at a planning option for Chicago and Monroe. We've got a number of projects that have come through that. We have a new developers coming through to do a mixed commercial, but first housing on top. So that's awesome. Things are happening.
What JPS, but those we consider affordable homes or?
The reduce or not, those are market. NeighborWorks is a combination of affordable and market, and then we still have 7 lots that we're working with Habitat on determining how we're gonna use those lots, the 7 single families. So the Gorman properties are workforce housing in the middle. And then there's also another site that we've yet to determine what will be developed on right when you come into the site for a larger development as well. So
Streets are all in, utilities are in, power should be in for the next 2-3 weeks. At least, but So it's moving right along.
And what is the soccer thing you mentioned about that?
Sure, so United Soccer League approached the city to request a letter of intent. So professional soccer, they're looking at doing, hopefully men's and women's teams at the professional level within the city of Green Bay. At this point in time, it's just a letter of intent. There's an exclusivity period where the city would say that we would not try to work with other leagues who bring a team to Green Bay, and during that time, USL will not work with other municipalities in Northwest Wisconsin to bring a stadium into the area. So we're gonna work together. We're gonna hopefully identify some opportunities, some sites, nothing is specific at this point in time. It's just kind of an agreement that we're gonna work together over the next year or two to figure it out.
Try not to dictate, what they sell their hot dogs for. I don't wanna lose them to that, Bob, no. Let's do what we can to get them there. Oh, sorry. Is that too soon? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was before my time, but.
And I got to tour the Nova development last week, and that was amazing. I'm definitely going to need one of those apartments on the second, on the pool level. So I can just walk out my balcony, my patio, right to the pool.
Right.
Cause yeah,
Did they say it was gonna be a heated pool?
it's gotta be, it has to be. I tell you, from the penthouse, you can see the river and Lambeau,
Wow.
so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the outside looks really nice. How they got the brick sod on there. It is white, kind of an off-white brick. It's turned out.
It's
really
cool.
good.
There were people working above us, there
Quick.
was wet plywood under our feet.
Yeah,
that
right.
had to be, so yeah, it was.
When will the restaurant be?
Do they even have a tenant though? Right, that's the,
They're hoping possibly a restaurant, but nothing's been confirmed. They're working with potential tenants.
Okay. So
I
I get it sometime.
just
You gotta know
text me.
somebody. Okay.
You
So-
you gotta be in the know.
With that, could I make a request from city staff, like for plan commissioners to get invited to some of these stuff, to some of the ribbon cuttings and.
You know, yeah, honestly, if I was on a list for that, I would show up at all that
Yeah, I
stuff.
would love to be there to represent. plan.
I mean, not that we wanna have a quorum or anything, but like
Okay.
I would absolutely show up to ribbon cuttings and all that.
I would love to see you as Bankfield.
I always miss stuff right after, like, oh, I could have gone to
I
that.
used to work in that building.
You always see them there,
See
but.
that
Yeah,
transformation.
correct.
Yeah, this was very last second. I got an invite like an hour and a half before. I'm like, yeah, I can definitely go.
Wait time for that.
I'll make time. I'm a little hard
So,
hat. and
give it
everything.
a while.
We will share that information, right? A lot of times we're invited, so we're. not-
Right,
we're
right,
not set.
okay, okay. All right. All right, so the next meeting is November 17th, 2025.
Let's say.
Okay.
Let's say.
Oh, yeah.
We
Wait,
had
what?
pizza candy.
I can share those.
I didn't really understand the whole time.
Like 5 M&Ms. Okay. Wait, sorry.
He's
Information,
not looking at me now.
Oh,
informational for me, my wife and I are about 5 weeks away from welcoming our baby into the world. If I'm not here randomly, that's probably what's.
you gotta be here on this.
I'm probably will be here on the
Okay,
second,
that's
but
all.
that might be the last.
I mean, I had a baby. I was right back in the meeting. Where's the baby?
I don't plan on it. So I will communicate. Bye.
Baby.
Well,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. And if the boy, David is a great man.
I was gonna go with Jacob Jr. actually.
Oh, great.
JJ.
You know, Jake Jr.
Motion, move to adjourn.
Oh, there you go. Second.
I wanted to give it.
Okay. Motion by Vice Chair Miller, second by Commissioner Daniels. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good evening.